I call it COS retailers. That would be scenario 1. And I create the second one to show you, in order to make it a bit more interesting, that you could have more scenarios. So I call this budget planning demo for scenario 2. So therefore, this also is a monetary value at this stage because we are dealing with finance. Then I go back again to allocation schedule, and now I add new, and I could call it, for example, allocation 1. For this specific company of mine, it could be period. As you see, you could have a source scenario to be 1, and the destination could be the other. Now imagine I have only 2, but imagine you had 3 or 4 or 5. So you could specify 1 goes to 2, 2 goes to 3, 3 goes to 4, 4 goes to 4. So you could have as many scenarios as you like, and each scenario could have its own allocation rule. Or you could specify it based on allocate to a dimension. If you do that, then you literally have to specify the allocation by budget allocation term is different than period. Then you do have aggregation. That means you're adding up all of the budget requests from different departments and you're aggregating them. Like for example, within one specific region, you may have 5 different cost center or business units or departments or whatnot, and you have allocated the budgets for them. You aggregate them all and you're submitting one total for all of them. Typical example would be departments and cost centers. Maybe you want to allocate the cost for all the cost centers and sum them up in order to request a budget for that department. Or you could do it the other way around. You could receive a monetary value and distribute it across multiple departments from the head business unit, let's say. Or as we discussed as part of our ledger allocation rule, you could literally use an allocation rule, which I've already demonstrated, if you recall, as part of previous sessions. And finally, you could copy it from a plan that already exists. I'm going to demonstrate based on aggregation, let's say, and I say the first scenario is scenario 1, the second scenario is scenario 2, but remember you could have multiple scenarios. And right from there, you have a factor multiplier that you could say whatever it was, you could multiply it by so and so value. If it's above 1, it multiplies. If it's less than 1, it's going to divide it. Would you like to append it to a plan or not? That's allocation 1, let's say. So scenario 1 goes to 2, and then the second one is the allocation 2, and I say again it's going to be based on aggregation. It's going to be scenario 2, and it's going to be ending in scenario 2. So scenario 1 goes to 2, and 2 goes to 2. That means you're ending it. And a stage allocation is the last piece. I'm just going to add it. I'm going to pick and choose the information from the budget planning and workflow stage, and I'm going to pick and choose the COS workflow for budget process I request, and that is going to use the first allocation, scenario 1 goes to 2, and then when you are going to approve it, I'm going to use allocation 2, which is scenario 2.